the infamous Lazarus Group from North Korea. I'm going to break down a little bit of history, give you some examples of what they've done, give you some of their methods. Should be a pretty interesting one. Hope you like it. I'll see you inside.
안녕하세요. 나 이름 크립토 커피 채트. Hello, I am Coffee Crypto Chat. So today we're talking about the Lazarus Group. FBI exposes North Korea. Okay, so what the Lazarus Group is, it's a hacking group that is associated with the North Korean government. Okay, and we can see here that 3 days ago, September 3rd, North Korea aggressively targeting crypto industry with well-disguised social engineering attacks. So what this means is 3 days ago, the FBI released an announcement that, of course, the North Korean group Lazarus, they're at it again. They're trying to steal crypto from people. And in this video, I'm going to explain more about that. I'll start with a little bit of history, give you some examples, and then I'll talk about their methods. All right, so before we get into this actual current attack, let's just very quickly review what is the Lazarus Group. So the Lazarus Group is also known as Guardians of Peace, who is team. The Lazarus Group name is actually given to them by the US government, so I would say these are probably more accurate. Okay, and what they do is they are well known for hacking and stealing. Okay, this kind of started with something in 2014 against Sony Pictures. So at that time, Sony Pictures was going to release, and they eventually did release, a movie. And in that movie, they blew up the leader of North Korea. Okay, whatever you think about that, I'm not giving my opinions, I'm just talking about the facts. What is pretty interesting is that North Korea told Sony Pictures many, many times, they said, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. You should not do this. If you do this, we're going to hack you and steal your money. Sony decided to go forward with it and do it, and they were hacked. And North Korea, the Lazarus Group, they stole lots of money from Sony. I'm not gonna lie, Sony deserved it. Okay, so it started with this, and then they moved on to more advanced hacking techniques. Okay, so but this is starting in 2009. We should rewind even farther. Back in the 80s, North Korea was well known for these things called the super bills or super dollars. All right, so I'll give you a question. 2 bills here. Which one is fake? I'll tell you, one of them is fake. Which one is fake? Give you a second, take a look. Do you see any details? Anything that hints to show which one is fake and which one is real? I'll tell you right now, it is the bottom one. Haha. Well, the reason why these bills are famous is because the quality in these fake bills is so high that it's actually higher than in the real bills. Okay, so an example of this would be in the microprinting. They say that in the real bills, it was good, but in the fake bills, the details was even more pronounced, right? So finer details. So North Korea back in the 80s was famous for this. This is kind of one of their early examples of malicious crimes. Question is, why are they doing this? Well, North Korea and South Korea, during the Korean War, they were split because the North was supported by China and Russia mainly, and the South was supported mainly by America and also other Western countries. What ended up happening is this division is still here today. But in the past, China and Russia supported North Korea much more. And that kind of support waned over time, and North Korea was left in a situation where they're cut off from the rest of the world. How do they make money? And so they decided to turn to a life of crime, and that's when they started printing these super dollars. And then from there, they have now moved into more high-tech attacks. Okay, so an example of that is WannaCry. So WannaCry, I think it was, let me very quickly check this. WannaCry was... Let me just quickly say, WannaCry. 2017. Okay, so WannaCry started in 2017, and this hack was very, very successful. It was a global hack, okay? And essentially what this did is someone would somehow install a malicious program. It would get onto the computers, it would infect the computers, encrypt all the files, and so they cannot open them. And this is kind of the big deal. What would happen after that is it would spread itself. Okay, so through the network, it would look for an open port. It would go through that open port and install. Okay, so this was a big deal for things like hospitals where they have these open networks. So one person would install, and then it would just very quickly spread throughout all these computers. It would encrypt all that information. And especially if you're something like a hospital, right, that information is very important. If it gets out to other people, it's a privacy violation. If you're working on a patient, you need that information, right? So big deal. Something else to note about this hack was that this was the first step into crypto. Okay, so in theory, the person's computer that was infected, they could send Bitcoin to this address and then a key would come back. In reality, they would never send that key back, at least at the start. But this was their first step into crypto. So moving on a little bit more, from WannaCry, they moved on to attacking exchanges. The first real example of this was NiceHash in 2017. And really what happened here was they got, again, they have that first entry. And just to very quickly note, these first entries are usually done through social engineering attacks, which means something like an email or you're tricking a human, right? So I say, hey, I'm the president of Sony, please give me the password. And eventually they do this again and again until they actually get in. And that's what happened to NiceHash. They got into the NiceHash system. Once they're in, they slowly start to spread their influence. And in these situations, they're looking for a master key. So NiceHash is an exchange, and they have lots of crypto assets controlled by their company. But it's also, because it's crypto, there's a key somewhere. And so the Lazarus Group is looking for that key. So in this specific example, they stole 75 million from NiceHash. And this type of hack actually expanded into not just attacking exchanges, but attacking individuals that are using exchanges. So in 2018, they started with this new program called Apple Juice. And what this is essentially is at that time, there weren't many big crypto exchanges. And most people that were doing this were using these kind of trading softwares. And so what Apple Juice is it looks like a trading software. I think it actually probably worked. But deep down in that code, they had a malicious Trojan. Here you go. So this is encrypting all the files, similar to the WannaCry, right, where it encrypts all your files and you have to send money. And so actually in this example, they are sending the private key. So same sort of thing, right? They get into your computer, they lock up your computer or do something malicious and ask for you to send money or just steal your money. Okay. So this happened to a string of different companies. It's not just NiceHash. They went out and did this many, many times. Very successful for them. And then getting closer to the present day, they're continuing the same sort of technique of social engineering, getting a person to install some malicious software on the computer. And then once that's installed, they encrypt or they steal your information. In this most recent example, they're using a thing called a keylogger. So either a downloader or a keylogger. Okay, so a downloader is, of course, it downloads your information, right? So taking your keys. A keylogger would be stealing your what you're typing. Okay, so maybe you're typing your password or typing your private key, and it's recording that and sending it to the Lazarus Group in North Korea. Okay, so these most recent ones, BeaverTail, Servit, and Invisible Ferret. Okay, all very similar. Sad thing is that these guys are targeting job seekers, right? So you apply for a crypto job, and they say, yes, we want you, please open this file. And when you open the file, it has like, are you sure you want to open this? And the person says yes. When they do that, it installs in the computer. Game over. Okay? And then before we move on to these methods, I want to show you this crazy thing right, where is it? Here, NiceHash, right here. $1.3 billion. That is a huge amount of money. This is how much money they have been able to steal and extort from not just crypto exchanges, but from banks over time. Okay, so this is the total amount of money that they've been able to extort. That's a crazy amount of money. That's way more than any sort of bank heist ever in all of human history, I'd guess. Okay, and then the question is, what do they do with this money? Okay, because we have to stop here and think. If I have Bitcoin, I can see where that Bitcoin comes from, and I can see where it goes. So the plan of the US government, the plan of crypto exchanges is they look at these. So, okay, North Korea steals that money, goes into this wallet here. The US government labels this wallet as malicious. Okay, and then what happens is when this wallet sends money to an exchange, that exchange says, oh, wait, it came from that malicious wallet. Let's freeze this money and give it to the government or give it to the victims that it was stolen from. This is a big problem from North Korea. So then the question is, how do they get out this money, this 1.3 billion? Okay, this is the total amount of money. This is a list of wallets that are known to be associated with them. So it's not the full 1.3 billion. Ooh. Oh, I'm stuck. It's not the full 1.3 billion, but it's 50 million. Excuse me. So these are known wallets. There's more out there. Pretty crazy, right? It's going up over time. But the question is, how do they get this money out? What are they going to do with it once it's in here if no one's willing to accept it? Well, after doing a little bit of research, I found 2 different methods. I'm sure they have more than this. Actually, I know 3, so let's go through these 2. First one is a thing called a mixer. So Bitcoin Mixer at blender.io, right? Essentially the idea is instead of sending from my wallet to the exchange, I go from my wallet to a like a mixing service, and that mixing service goes to the exchange. And what a mixing service is it takes a group of people, puts all of the money together, mixes up all the numbers, and then sends it out to the recipients that are supposed to receive this money. Okay? So another example of this would be Tornado Cash, which was shut down, I think, 2 years ago now. This one was on Bitcoin, Tornado Cash is on Ethereum, but essentially using the same techniques. So this is called a mixer. Another thing which is done by Lazarus Group is called peeling, so a peel chain. Essentially, the idea of this is because this wallet here is labeled as malicious, what they do is they send it to a new wallet and very, very quickly send out a little piece of money. Okay? If it's all the money, then maybe the exchange is suspicious. But if they go from a fresh wallet and send out a little piece before this wallet is labeled, then maybe that little piece can get through the system, get through the cracks. And they do this again and again and again and again until all the money is done. So that's called a peel chain. The other one, of course, is OTC, right? So this is, OTC means like peer-to-peer, person-to-person, right? So maybe I have US dollars, now I want to buy some Bitcoin. Well, they send it to me or something like that, right? So what they do is they can combine all these different services, the blending, the peer-to-peer, the peel chain here, and they do all this, and slowly they kind of wash this money. So that is a very quick and brief overview of the Lazarus Group from North Korea. I hope it was interesting. If you liked it, give me all those thumbs. And also, if you want me to talk about anything else, just leave a comment and I will try to do that. See ya!